Cool. Just jumping right in. Were you all set?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't mean to just have you pulled right in, but hey, here we be.
No, because I honestly I finished up this I stopped at 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Like I stopped at that point like 30 minutes ago or 40 minutes ago,
Okay.
and I was I'll say more
You'll say
once
more
we, yeah, I want to save this for
after I've begun. So how about we begin?
okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Indie Book Club. My name is Graydon Webb. I'm joined today by the illustrious Alan Muir. How are you today?
Oh,
What?
that's Gaelic for oh dear.
Oh, I thought that was a little French. I was like, oh, what are we
No,
doing
no,
here? You know a
Scottish.
surprising amount of Gaelic.
I've been doing the Duolingo thing, like daily thing for like close to 400 days.
Oh my goodness. And your family has that in it, right? So is that why you do it?
Yeah, I've ties to both Scotland and Ireland.
You're as United Kingdom adjacent as they come. Because they don't want to be considered United Kingdom, right?
Well, there's stuff with there's stuff with the IRA that I think I don't want to get into because I don't know as much as I should.
Gotcha.
But um, Scottish side goes back to Ayrshire, Scotland,
Mm-hmm.
and the Irish side is, as I said, there's as I mentioned in the Facebook chat long while ago. Technically, I have family that I have now never made contact with. Simple as that.
Oh, yes, that you're not kind of proud of, right?
No, it's the reverse. They're not proud of.
Oh, I feel you. I get what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember when that was brought up as a point of contention. But hey, you don't need to know everybody. It's
Oh
nice
no,
to
it was actually like a really touching story because my grandparents they were turned. It's literally like one door closes or one door closes, another one opens. Turned away by one part of the family. Other part of the family, complete opposite. Just nicest people that could be met. So
well, there you go.
yeah.
History, ancestry, lineage. Check it out. I think that it's always good to know that kind of stuff. My fiance is big into ancestry and trying to amass the world's largest family tree that her legacy has ever known. So it's
Last
cool.
thing I'm gonna say about this, I have ties to Robert the Bruce.
Who is that?
Well, I think Robert the Bruce. I know about, or I know of. Like I know that part. I think there might be also something to Eric the Red.
That I've heard that name.
Yeah, there's my family tree is so strange.
Well, if you're related to Eric the Red, one of his sons was Leif Erikson. So
I'm not certain of that. Like, I'm not 100% certain.
that would be pretty rad.
Yeah, it's when I find out more, I'll let you know.
Stay tuned for more info on Alan's ancestry. um, but why
But
are we
that's
here?
yeah. No, we're here to continue. Wait, what am I talking about? You're the host. Host away.
We are here to dive further back into the Pacific Northwest in our indie book club series known as Oxenfree. If you have not heard the first episode, please go and do that. It's in the same podcast feed under Indie Book Club. And what we're doing is we are going back and replaying Night School Studios' hit classic Oxenfree. I say classic, it's not even 10 years old. But time moves too fast and things become classics far, far too fast. So yeah, we played the first hour last week, and that was, I forget exactly what the chapters, so to speak, were, but this week we played the second hour, which for me was an hour and a half. I don't know if you ended up going longer, but I ended up recording it like we had suggested. I recorded my gameplay footage. It's, if you're watching the video podcast, it's accompanying this, and just in no order, just something to watch. That's probably how I'm going to try to do these now, because it's something to do while you're listening.
Something that keeps the attention.
Yeah, it took a little longer than I had thought, but I'm realizing that with this playthrough, I'm just enjoying myself more and trying to take in the sights a little better. I mean, we'll talk about how the radio adds more. Yeah, the radio adds this different level of narrative where there's a lot more story to delve into should you choose to listen to it. And so I'm trying to do that with this playthrough, get a lot more out of it, and I'm enjoying that. So yeah, we played, I believe it was 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. segment, or 12 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And yeah, you were starting to tell me some stuff before we began, so I'll let you pick up right from there. But to kind of set the stage for it, we ended last week with a choice to make, in a way. You could either go to the woods to try to save Ren, or you could go to Fort Milner and try to save Clarissa. So you were going toward the fort, and I was going toward the woods. And yeah,
No. I don't know if I changed. Like if I actually changed. I changed what the like.
that's fine.
Yeah, because I end up. I was originally going to go to the fort,
Hmm.
but then decided to change. See if anything would happen, and yeah, something certainly happened.
So interestingly, I did that same thing. Well, I mean, I just said I did, but I was thinking at the end of the last episode that maybe the game didn't let you choose both ways, and I was doing something different than I remember doing in the last time I played. But then I realized that you actually do end up going to both choices,
Yeah.
no matter what, which I kind of liked. I didn't expect it to be when I said, oh, we'll go to 2 a.m. I didn't expect that 1 hour's the next, but it just worked out that way. And that was pretty cool. So, yeah, so you're saying you went to the woods. I went to the woods as well. And you were saying you weren't expecting at the end. So you're saying the way Fort Milner ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's jarring. I hope it wasn't too much.
Well, not just that, just the way that not just what the action that happens, but when you go to the area and yeah, ooh, ooh.
Oof, oof. Well, I suppose we can begin with with my little synopsis. I mean, I tried to write out as much as I could and just kind of go from there and see how we enjoyed these segments. So we begin with 12. I wrote 12 p.m. It's 12 a.m. That's how clocks work. Midnight. Jonas and Alex being our player character, continue into the forest. They get the power running to the cable car, but not without facing an anomaly in the power station. Creepier still, a ghostly chair appears out of nowhere in their path. So, just to branch off here, were you surprised by the fact that, like, it just gets real spooky real fast? Like, ghosts start appearing all over the place.
Yeah, it's I wasn't expecting that whole like I didn't expect it to go in the direction it ended up going in. And as things went further, ironically, when like I was thinking of a certain game, then when you said Pacific Northwest, I just said like to start things off. I was like, oh, that just even cements it further because I'm just thinking about Life is Strange, first one.
Yeah, it definitely has that vibe with the cast, at least.
Well, not just that. The point, like the quiz or the I don't know what the right term is.
Oh yeah, the Hangman trivia.
Yeah, and like what the people, what the folks are repeating what they want,
Hmm.
and this is Thomas was alone all over again in terms of enjoyment.
Well, I like that you're enjoying it. If you haven't heard the first episode, Alan had said that they'd played like basically the tutorial of this game, like just the boat ride at the beginning, and then stopped. So this is all new to them, which I love. I played it close to when it came out, but I've been wanting to replay it for years. So this is again pretty like new to me, remembering all of these things, and yeah, I'm just having a blast with it. It scratches that itch. I mean, I played After Party rather recently in terms of when I compared to when I played Oxenfree last, and it's scratching that itch of like I love how Night School does their narrative. I just love their characters. The acting is so good. Like it just plays and flows so well, and whatever dialogue you choose, it flows so well with the choices, and it's just I love it. I said interactive movie last time, and I kind of stick by it because it really just feels like you're just watching it all play out, even though you're like walking around more an adventure game than even like a Telltale type of thing. But it just feels so story heavy, and I just love it. Um, but yeah, I too was a bit surprised here, like, oh, okay, we're doing a lot with these anomalies, and I guess I can sidebar further still and talk about the radio briefly. So the the radio at any time you can open it up and start listening to things. And I mean you probably noticed like these anomalies. Well, yeah, you mentioned one to me today that like there's these little cairns around the environment, and when you go over to them, you can pull out your radio and it will tell you that you found an anomaly. And were you searching for these, or were you just kind of like, if they show up, I'll do them, but otherwise, I'm not really looking for them?
Saying I wasn't looking for them, or saying I had the radio on would be a severe understatement because I had it on. I was just turning it on practically the entire playthrough.
Oh wow, okay. I wondered if anybody has played like this because I was like, oh, I bet there's YouTube videos of like the whole. I mean, not to like go on a tangent, I won't. But like, there's like a radio drama going on. There's like war things happening. Like, you go ahead. I'm
There,
sorry.
okay, so there are well there are old like classic 40s songs or
Yes.
bits of 40s classic songs. There's a there's a certain line that repeating. We were going ashore through the choppy surf under the narrow beaches in the north, and I kept trying to think because like it sounded like it's either a radio drama or a movie. So I just typed in because I was trying to Shazam that the one of the class like oldies bits, but I couldn't get anything. So I literally I just simply I stopped playing the game, or I put went into like turn on the radio, tuned to the frequency, and was literally just transcribing the everything into YouTube,
Hmm.
and I it brought up action at Angauer, which it was a battle in the Palau Islands during the Pacific Theater of Operations in World War II.
We were going ashore through the choppy surf under the narrow beaches in the north. Ran out fast until the two beachheads joined up, then moved down the island. This was finally it.
And at first, I was like, or I thought, why? Or I had a feeling. I ended up having a hunch about why this, like how this ties in everything.
Hmm.
And I was wondering how they got, like how did they get, how they get away use like, or how are they able to use it? Because it's a work of the federal government, is in the public domain.
Really?
Yeah,
So they're able to use any kind of like propaganda documentary type stuff and just
yeah,
put it in
yeah,
there.
yeah. It was a movie from the U.S. War Department.
Wow.
Yeah, the 81st Infantry.
That's really cool. So it's
Yeah,
like it's real life stuff, but also it's just interesting filler history. And they used it to craft a narrative because a lot of it is like talking about the wartime stuff. I mean, I'll get into it more with the synopsis, but it it is proving to be, as I had predicted in the first episode, about these submarines that crashed off the course of off the coast of the island, and like there's just a lot of maritime war history on
yeah,
this island.
yeah. Because when I brought this up and when I sent you the video, you're like, "Oh, is this about the like the certain part in the game?"
Mhm.
That was later on. I was like, at first, I didn't say anything about that. I didn't respond to that because I hadn't actually gotten to that part yet.
Oh,
So I just said, no. It's just like if you just in that area, like in the woods, to like 95 FM, and yeah, I there's actually there was a certain point where like I'll get to it more later, but one of the ways like the parts near the end of the play this play this particular part, I didn't even realize I had to interact with one of the anomalies to get something to happen. I just did it because I saw it.
okay.
So I'll get to that. I'll bring that up when it's closer to said area.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I like I said I was spending more time with going through this world this time around, and I feel like I was more prone to realizing, oh, certain areas have little things. Like even in the woods, there's a spot or two where you can like climb a rock to the top of a mountain area, and it doesn't go anywhere, and the path
It's
ends.
yeah, yeah. It's just wait the like to the top left or the bench.
Yes, exactly. And I was like assuming there would be an anomaly there or something, and there wasn't. And it's just, but it gets you to explore, to see these dead ends and be like, I just want to go there. I just want to see what's over there. And a lot of times the path like would bring you places and, oh, there's a cairn up there. Okay, I'm going to go toward those rocks. I'm going to go do this thing. I know I don't have to, but I want to see what the radio is going to say. And I like that it's this meta narrative that's inside everything going on, and you've got like these mini stories being told. But then there's also moments like, oh, what's this well? I don't know.
The
That or
wishing well.
yeah, like Jonas at one point asks about this well, and Alex kind of gives him some backstory on it, but he's like, well, there's no sign here. And I was like, well, screw it. I'm going to take out my radio. And I like how it goes green because it's like, well, this is just going to be your basic tour guide thing. This isn't an anomaly. And it tells you all about the well.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool that it does things like that. So it's really one of those like having your radio out is brilliant. You can walk around the whole world with the radio out, and you're just going to get a deeper story with it. And I think that that's really, really neat that they put this care into the narrative that they didn't totally have to.
What are you saying? Are we lost? Or is it something else? I mean...
We keep repeating this one moment for some reason. God, can't things stay normal for like 2 friggin' seconds?
Well, it's more than a little troubling that I can't tell. Besides, a headache I've only just noticed, but okay, let's deal with this now, sure.
This has something similar to Fallout and Fallout, or basically the Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 2, Fallout New Vegas, like those that trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
where exploration is like not just welcomed but rewarded.
Yeah. It's like not telling you up front it's what the game is about, but when you discover it is, you're getting a bigger game.
Yeah, like I've been playing a lot of Fallout 2 and New Vegas recently, in addition to Fallout 4 and 76.
Jeez.
Yeah, 50 hours in the past 2 weeks, and the past 2 weeks on Fallout 4. But when I was younger, like when Fallout 3 first came out, I was playing everything close to, like, I was basically just following the little compass in the bottom left corner,
Mm-hmm.
and I just felt like I was following, basically just going from point to point to point. Falling to Vegas, it just made me want to explore, and similar thing goes for the basically the West Coast Fallouts.
Mm-hmm.
Like Fallout 1, more of a repeated viewing type of experience.
Okay.
But if you search every nook and cranny, you're bound to find something.
Mm-hmm.
There's a vault in New Vegas that's the similar thing. It's a laser rifle that does a lot of damage, and it's H Bomber guy said this better than me, but it gives you a sense that like unique items could be anywhere, and it rewards you for going out and searching, like it's being thorough and searching out every nook and cranny. And that was more of paraphrasing what H Bomber guy said, but the one thing I didn't realize, I did not realize that how far are we from the camp, or the tent?
How far
Like,
am I?
no, how far until it gets to that plot point?
Oh, in the synopsis. I'm
Yeah.
very close.
Okay, because I'm curious if I'm just go on, because I'm curious if because I had the radio out, I'm curious if what I was doing was anyway. Go on.
like part
Go
of
on.
it, or if you did
Yeah.
something. I got you.
Yeah. It's been a while since I played a game that has made me think that doing a certain action with a in-game item, like with a mini game type thing, causes something to just repeat and repeat.
Oh, I got you. Oh, nope. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
So, going on, they take the cable car to the campgrounds, and time begins to skip. It is here we begin to see temporal anomalies, as Alex calls them, or time loops. Like you mentioned, I hadn't even write it down, but a campfire appears, and it seems to like be, put out recently. And she's like, "Well, that's new. Like, what just happened here?" And as these time loops continue, she starts filling Jonas in on them. Like, we're stuck in this because he's not realizing that the time keeps looping. But she keeps letting him know. And I like that it's not a, I hate to mention the black sheep, but it's not a 12 minutes type of thing where,
Brother, why am I stuck in a loop?
it's not like she has to keep informing him of the time loop. He's always still aware that it exists. So even though in this wood segment his dialogue kicks off the time loop, you can immediately be like, "We're in it," and he'll be like, "Oh, geez, it happened again." And I like that. So he doesn't have to just keep like, "What are you talking about?" It's done in a smart way. But through the course of some looping, a ball appears bearing the likeness of a ball, like a soccer ball, that Alex had as a kid. After kicking it back and forth a couple times with this spirit, they'll kick it back to them. She kicks it back. At one point, it explodes, leaving a shadow creature behind on the wall. Alex also, in one of the time loops, confronts a ghostly doppelganger in the lake, who speaks of her dead brother Michael and an impending choice she may have to make. Like I said, Alex tells Jonas she's experiencing time loops and uses she called it a magnetophone, but I didn't Google if that's a thing. Like, if that's she didn't seem to know what it was really called. That's what she calls it. It just kind of looks like a cassette. Like if she were to take a cassette tape and wind it really fast, she uses that to put an end to the time loops. So I'll break off right there real quick. Does that explain to you what what you were experiencing?
Yeah. So I kept going, like the part where you have to go up just climb up basically climb up. I was doing every time I had to climb up anything. I had my
Mhm.
radio. I had the radio on as I was doing it.
Okay.
But I had basically had, like I said, I had the radio on basically the entire time. It was like the entire stretch time,
Yeah.
to the point where I was actually losing. Like I was not losing. I was I was falling behind. Like it was getting closer to like 7:30. Like the point where I had to stop or I had to like get, because I was worried wasn't gonna get close to the 2 a.m. mark.
Oh, I gotcha. Yes.
Yeah,
You were just kind of
and
like wasting time, you felt.
yeah, because I was just honestly wasting time because I wanted to see where everything would go. And I
Mhm.
just, because I kept tuning to a certain frequency while going up while climbing up the rock. I thought that, or I had a feeling that because I kept tuning to that frequency, I was
Oh,
looping
you were
back.
looping it?
Yeah,
I gotcha.
that sounds like such a bad act.
So you thought that you were doing something that was causing it to loop every time.
Yeah,
But nope, it's part of the game. And I think, well, I mean, I didn't really remember it because honestly I forget how paranormal things get and what happens like when we get to a certain thing that happens to Ren. I did not remember that. And it's just like seeing that happen, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I forgot about it. So it's I get that that's like, oh, did I cause that to happen? But no, it just continues to be a part of the game. Yeah, I guess I'll go on. Um Though I will briefly mention when it was like when I saw the shadow thing on the wall, I was like, "Holy crap! Like it's really a thing." And then Jonas noticed it, and was like, "Yeah, that's a shadow being." Like that was some scary stuff.
Yeah, when I got to a certain point, I was like, I wasn't expecting the the photos to just be a feature at all, like
Mhm.
the Polaroids.
Oh yes, yes.
And I just as it's loading between one area to the next, I just see like just the ghostly, or not the ghostly, the demonic silhouette with the red eyes.
Yeah, when they take the selfie.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I not expecting that.
I was surprised it doesn't get brought up. Like, but maybe he didn't look at it or something yet. So maybe at some point it will get brought up. But yeah, so still in the woods here, they come across Nona in the forest. Who is it? Nona? Nora? Nona?
No, no.
Nona. Um, they come across her. I just lost my thing. Who insists she had seen them already, and they talked about her presumably dead grandfather. They try to convince her they are real, and get her to head to the comms tower for safety. So she's also experiencing these hallucinations in the woods. It was at this point that I was wondering if Ren's call was even real. Like I was like, did you ever think that? Like maybe he's not here. These woods just want them to be there, going crazy.
Honestly, I didn't expect. I had a feeling something would happen, but I didn't expect. I was actually the thing you had told me. I thought it was about that part.
Okay,
I
I
thought it was.
gotcha. She thought it was a bit more tame.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, nope. It's got. When we get there, I'll mention like
Yeah.
how I find it really neat for what the game is. But yeah, so they convince her. She goes to the comms tower. Alex and Jonas then find Ren, who seems to have come under a possession. Using the radio, they open another portal and confront the spirits from the cave. So obviously they're the spirits of the island, but they last had really talked to them in the cave. They open up this triangle portal, and Alex is told by them through their really creepy, distorted voices. Real, like some scary. I don't like it at all. She's told that Maggie Adler is apparently keeping the spirits, quote, grounded.
In between. Fastened. Loose. Grounded.
And that leave is possible
Leave.
if she helps them. Ren comes to and heads to the comms tower, and Alex and Jonas head to Fort Milner. And that concludes 12 a.m. in the woods. So, pretty wild. Was that... I'm having trouble remembering it. Wasn't there a time loop as well where, trigger warning, they see Ren like hanging for a second? Or was that Clarissa?
No, I think it's Ren, because there's a similar one with Jonas.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like it's
So
and it's these yeah, go ahead.
so I don't know if it was like, since we both picked the same thing. I imagine the same thing happened.
Mhm.
First, like when first entering the area where Ren is, he mentions that he's been going. He feels like he feels like, oh, thank God it's you. I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was going crazy. Thought expected you guys to be werewolves or something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Then boom, time loop or time reset, and you tell Jonas, and then he's not there. Then boom, another time loop or time reset. Then you're back like a little bit further, or you're a little further back, and you see Ren walking, like you're trying to catch up to him, and assume he's still on a drug trip
Mm-hmm.
because of the cookie, the magic stuff he took.
Right. And that's when you have to use 2 magnetophones to break out of that time loop.
Yeah, to resync everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he looks like he's impaled because the word chest wound, or there's a chest wound type, like it looks like something's either impaled him or pierced him, because he's got the red on him.
Okay.
Thinking that, assuming that there's something that he's either stabbed or just like near death.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wakes. After you commune with the demons, yeah, he has no idea. Like, he's just wasn't even aware of what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game's morbid, and that's an understatement considering what's coming up next.
Yeah, no, it definitely gets worse. And I mean, so this is where I'll kind of mention, I was saying this before when talking about the game earlier today, that if this were a horror game, I would be like, if you just told me right out the gate that this was a scary game, this is a horror game, I would be turned off from it. I wouldn't even want to try it. But it's under this guise of a narrative adventure game that it gives me horror vibes, like something akin to a Hereditary, as an example, where it's like this atmospheric horror, and you're just kind of like, you're given these not jump scares exactly, but just like a WTF moment.
You know, I can tell you what game I played last that gave me this feeling.
Okay.
Gone Home.
Okay.
Was uneasy the entire time I played that game.
Yeah, no, I can get that. I can see that. I mean, you could even say that with I was gonna say Edith Finch, but maybe not. Just like this, yeah. Gone Home is perfect because you're in the same spot for the whole time. You're not doing vignettes. You're in the same thing. And Gone Home does a really cool thing where it's that kind of horror I love, where you're just in this house and something seems off.
Yeah.
And like, you have this idea, which is funny because according to the the protagonist, the narrative is that you're coming home, but you have this vibe the whole time like you shouldn't be there and you're unwelcome. And that's the crazy thing about Gone Home, is when you get to through its story, you're like, oh, it's a kind of a love story in a way. There's nothing scary about it, but it has this great tone to make you unsettled, and it immerses you. I hate to say immersion, but it immerses you in that environment and makes you be like, well, this is like, I'm here. Honey, I'm home. How do I what am I supposed to do at this point? And yeah, Oxenfree is a similar way, where you're like, I'm here on this island, and you can even liken it to the fact that Alex has been here before. She used to go to this island growing up. Like, she's back in a place where she should feel comfortable, but the vibes are off, something's wrong, and you're slowly unraveling this mystery as it's letting itself be seen. And yeah, it's trippy, and it almost feels like these spirits, who obviously through the conversations want help, they're trying to get your attention with the most morbid stuff. Like, oh, you're not going to listen to me? Here's a vision of your friend dying. Like, what? Okay, I'm here. So it's weird to see, like, what did the spirits want? That's why I like, in the Fort Milner segment, I don't know if you did it too, but I kept referring to the spirits as the evil.
Clearly, it's the evil, obviously.
I didn't do that. I forget what I called it. But Yeah, that no, because I wasn't trying to be like I was continuing my like not being a jerk to
Your pacifist run.
yeah, my pacifist run, except for um the loud peeing,
The what?
the loud pissing.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. What did you do there?
I was like, go in the corner, just go in the corner, do it in the corner.
And did he? This is so
Why
weird.
you didn't do that? You didn't let him. You chose not to
I
let him
no, I
relieve
told him.
himself.
I told him to go in the corner, but then I just walked right over to him
Okay,
and like,
so what I did was when it got to that point, I said go in the corner. He goes, and I'm just facing away, like just facing the complete, like facing away from him. Like
mhm.
he's doing the stuff in the corner. I'm looking the opposite, like the towards the right, and just acting very disgusted. And yeah, I just saying, just being yeah, because
So
it was
did
just
he? How long is that animation supposed to be if you let him pee?
um, it felt like it went on forever.
Really?
But
That's
that's
so
just
funny.
yeah, because and the thing is, I was not expecting that to happen. I was not expecting that element to happen. Like it was, but it's something that would be so that would be that is so or probably that realistically would happen in a situation
Mhm.
like this.
Yeah, everyone's got to pee,
Yeah, and but the
but it's
fact
just
that it
so
happens
wacky.
just wacky with the timing.
The tonal shift of hey, we're locked in here because of spirits. Where's our friend? I gotta pee.
Yeah,
it's it's good. It's good, and it's. I mean, the game itself is very funny. It has a lot of moments that are very funny, but it straddles this line between like what is going on and being humorous, and I love that. It's just such a good game. But shall we jump to 1 a.m. so people know what we're even talking about?
yeah. Well, before we get to that point, um, at the camp area, like when before the first like at the camp tent area,
Hmm.
did you choose to talk about Michael with Jonas?
Yeah, I tried to. I tried to be open with him.
Okay, because he asks, like Jonas asks a bit about why, um, like what did Michael see in,
Oh, and Clarissa.
yeah, Carissa.
Yes, yes. That whole bit I did try to get that try to continue that thread where he's like what I don't picture him being the kind of guy that would go for that.
Yeah, I actually just chose to just not even like when it got to that point, I was like saying things, and then I chose when he was asking like, yeah, why did he go for her? I just decided to not to just let it just do the
The silent
ellipses.
rope.
Yeah, the ellipse. Yeah, the silent route. And I love the response of I'm just going to take your silent response as as the reason.
So with that he kind of he had another line because of your silence.
Yeah,
That's funny. Cuz sometimes I was missing things and I just didn't hit something in fast enough and I just shut down the conversation and I felt like, "Oh crap, I can't go back and fix that." Like in that same area when you go to the left and you discover like the beds in Fort Milner.
yeah.
And I missed it. He was like, "Why would there be beds here?" And I missed the response, and then it just went quiet. And I was like, "Well, there goes that text thread." Like,
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. I chose I think the middle option, like the I don't know I don't know, but the same thing happened to me, ironically, as like right after that part.
Mm-hmm.
The specific part was the handprints.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like you missed the next dialogue choice about them.
Well, it was actually kind of weird. There were both with the dialogue. Like I was responding to a piece to one of the questions, and then
Mm-hmm.
more like he was speaking the next line. It was weird.
It was one of those glitchy things again.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did see
I,
that a couple times too.
yeah. And I just had I was hoping it wasn't it wasn't because I was playing on Switch.
No, no. No, the game sometimes does that. It'll like loop its dialogue. It'll continue on and then something else will happen. That's why most of the time when I wanted to continue a dialogue chain, I would just stop. Like if you're watching the video, you'll realize that throughout it when there's dialogue, I just stood in one place cuz I really wanted to be able to listen to what was going on, but I didn't want to like trigger more events because then the voices would overlap or it would just shut down a conversation completely, and I just felt like I wanted to be able to experience everything that was happening, get to the end of the chain and then start moving again. So that going forward, you may want to employ the same thing if you haven't done so, and it'll kind of keep that audio from glitching. But I assure you, it's not just a Switch thing.
Dinner time. It's never too late to make dessert. Not anymore.
What the hell is this?
Do you want to play a game?
All right, I know the answer's no, but we kind of do have to find Clarissa, so let's just ignore the question and thank the weird radio men for the door.
Wait, seriously? Doors that open themselves have been, like, a really bad thing in my experience.
Oh, really? Even automatic doors like in supermarkets?
I guess.
But yeah, so going into 1 a.m., Alex and Jonas visit Fort Milner, hoping to find Clarissa. I'll just kind of read a lot of this because we've talked about a lot of it. Along the way, they experience paranormal activity, and Alex once again sees her doppelganger in a mirror. Now, I will once again just say, you could have done this in any way. I was actually kind of interested to see when you leave the woods the way that I did and the way that you did, and then went toward the fort, we came in a way that was kind of like on top of the map in a way. And then you circle around a curve. It's kind of like a, how do I describe it? A backwards C, if you will. And we showed up on top. And then in the mid of the C is the door you have to go in to progress.
Okay, yeah, this is the point. This is what I did not even try opening the door. Like
Oh, okay.
so I tried, or I ended up going through the area and the area, just doing it, filling out like, or just doing everything I could, like just talking about everything I could,
Mm-hmm.
like trying to fill out all the dialogue options or opportunities.
Yeah.
And before I got to that point, I noticed that there was like the flashing red light.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna go back. Ironically, I was gonna start climbing or going up the to the door, but I just thought I could get FOMO, and just went back, went up the ladder, or climbed up the ladder, tuned the radio, and yeah, that's when
Open.
not just when the door opened, when I got asked if I wanted to play a game. Or
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
I think yeah. If that's what the specific line is.
I think so. It's like a hey kids.
Hey, kids. Want to play a game?
Like it's a weird
Yeah. It's a weird. Yeah, it's a
game show.
Yeah. Well, at least that's what it starts off sounding like, but turns out to be something much worse.
Yes, demonic double dare. um, But yeah, so like you said, like I continued the sea and found that when you went through that whole bottom half of the map, you then end up at the place where
You exit.
yeah, you would exit, but if you had come from the comms tower and taken the right to go to Fort Milner in before the woods, you would have come in that way. So it was interesting how the map kind of sets you up to be like, hey, you can skip a lot of stuff if you like pass on to the second half. Alternatively, I noticed in the the patron saint Jacksepticeye, whose gameplay I am modeling these episodes off of, he went to Milner first and then went to the woods. And once he got Ren, Ren walks with you back to the comms tower. So there's some extra dialogue there that you and I aren't going to get because we sent him back first and then went to Fort Milner. And spoilers, but we don't come back with Clarissa. So
Maybe,
it's like
maybe.
maybe, you never know. So it's just interesting how the game wants you to obviously play.
Comic book rules. Comic
True.
book rule book. That whole thing.
Very true. Very true. The game wants you to play both sides, but you can do it in a way that like it gives you little bonuses for either thing. So I was actually interested, and you didn't do it. I didn't do it, but there's a part where if you choose to open that door before the anomaly, there's a lot of dialogue where Jonas is like, "Are you sure that's the door you think?" And she's like, "You can like be like, yeah, I just have a hunch this is the door." And I don't know if you can break it open by brute force without doing the anomaly thing, but I assume it's one of those things where it's like your cave-in thing, where you were gonna leave the cave, but then it found a way to not have you leave the cave. I bet it would be a similar thing where it's like the door doesn't open even though you try to open it, so you still have to see that anomaly.
Did you? Okay, so the door where everyone or where you exit from. Did you try going into that? Did you try going through that way before going to the other door?
The door
that leads out from where we stopped.
Okay, the door that leads to so like it's not a door, right? It's just the exit, like walking off the screen.
No. The exit from where the. Okay, so the point the door that is not the door that is opposite the anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
The door that is further down. The one that near the firing range.
Okay, yes, I did try to go in that door,
because
and it was locked.
Yeah, because the thing I noticed every time every time I tried going near that door or trying to do something, it went to a cutscene mode. Like I kept expecting something to happen.
Oh, I see. Yeah, where the borders come, the black bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. I don't know why it did that. Because it didn't do anything opening the door. But I don't know. Yeah, it's very, like, even though it feels open, it is very linear in what it wants you to do. So, like, for both of us, that door was going to be locked. There's only one way in. But, yeah, interesting thing to note there. But yeah, I mean, so you end up going through, like you said, or what is it? Let's see. Oh, that was even, what we're talking about is after that point, I think. Oh, no, it's not. You go through that door. Along the way, they experience paranormal activity, and Alex once again sees a doppelganger in a mirror. It tells her of a choice she may have to make regarding Jonas, and she is once again left confused. Jonas then takes the aforementioned selfie, and an anomaly appears in that picture in the loading screen.
Not just that. You can get some clues or clues for the part that.
Oh, true. For trivia answers.
Yeah, for trivia night. manned by the ghost host.
You're ghostess with the mostess. True, you do want to pay attention to the dialogue, which was really neat. Like I was like, oh, they actually mentioned this stuff. I did get one question wrong, but
So did I. So did I.
So further anomalies are found, like you said, by the red lights around Fort Milner, which lead the duo to a room in which Jonas gets possessed, and the spirits force Alex to play a trivia game about the island in the form of Hangman. So they ask 3 questions, one of them being, what do they call codes on the island? They
Cookies.
asked, yes, yeah, let's see if you know. They asked, what is the name of the school?
The U.S. armed, or the United States Army radio, like it has to do with the radio.
Oh, see, I
Is that
didn't
what's
say
going?
radio.
Is that the one you got wrong?
Yeah, I didn't say the radio thing. I said the like the army school or something.
Yeah, that's the only reason I know that is because the locked door. When I turned on the radio, there was a it sounded like a press release, or not a press release. It sounded more like a historical piece, or like a historical thing, like from year blank blank to year blank blank. The United States Army radio, something.
Hmm.
So it's one of those things where, yes, using the radio and paying attention to the points of interest does help pay off.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting.
It was the first two, or it was the first 2 I got right. The third I got wrong. Jonas got possessed.
Mhm.
Then I mean, while all this is happening, there's the whole thing of having to do everything upside down with the controller, which was chef's kiss. Perfect.
Yeah,
I was
super
like,
mind-boggling.
and the thing I was just angry at. My controller was charged. I was charging my controller at that time, so I had the USB Type C cable
Oh,
in
jeez,
controller.
hanging
So
out of it.
yeah, so I'm like, not only do I say the wrong thing, not for the test, or like not for the Hangman test, but just the dialogue. I mistakenly pressed the wrong button, and then I decided to hold my controller, my Switch Pro controller upside down, hoping that I got everything, that I was like, I didn't have to look at everything. It was just that's good game design, or that's good game design, by making the player have to do that whole thing. Because if I'm not mistaken, there's a similar thing happens back at the lake.
Yeah, so the lake actually introduces the fact that while it was a mirror image, you don't get to choose those dialogues. The doppelganger has its own dialogue choices, but I believe it chooses them no matter what. So you get to see like distorted looking dialogue choices, but you don't get to pick them. I'm fairly sure. If it happens again, I'll try. Maybe I'll just pick one randomly fast. But I really think that it's supposed to be as if that's a different player character choosing different choices.
So wait, when okay, this is just a quick little thing.
Yeah.
When Jonas got locked in the area, like when he got locked in, what did the mirror image say? That area.
So like how the lake was like, oh, don't tell Michael about such and such, and it's like, what? He's dead. The mirror thing, it was like, don't let Jonas talk to his mother, I think it said.
Okay, because I found something out that is related to this, that has to do with New Game Plus.
Oh.
So basically, in New Game Plus, if I was looking at everything right and trying not to spoil myself in the process, like your New Game Plus mode, like stuff, like or in New Game Plus, what you say, like it's basically like past playthroughs, like the previous playthrough in New Game Plus, or
Hmm.
the preceding New Game Plus, like it's that choice. It's like has to do with that. So it's like
Oh,
your past echoing or just like distorting and
what?
I imagine for the first time player, it's just a like a default one.
Uh huh. Well, did you get a different thing?
No, I got the same. I got somewhat the same thing. It was like don't or it wasn't telling Jonas not to talk to his mother. It was
Hmm.
how to talk, like how it has to do with how to be how to be what like or has to do with like how you should act around that subject or that topic with him.
Okay, yeah, that might have been it. That sounds about right. Which is weird because I mean, didn't have the ability to play a New Game Plus, but I have played this game before on PS4. So I would assume that it should have given me that option, or at the very least, like knows that I have a save file somewhere. But yeah, when I started it up, it just kind of it has one of those interactive start screens where the game just kind of begins from it. So it was like, well, just start the game. Here we go. But I'll be very interested to see if that's. I mean, the game is short enough that it could rely on some kind of replayability to make it to make it a meatier game. But I really didn't remember any of that. So that would be really cool if that was like an echo of your past in some way.
Yeah, because I know there are multiple endings.
Okay. I was fairly sure about that, but I didn't want to say that in case it spoiled anything. But I don't know what they are. I'm sure that it does some kind of choice branching thing. So, I mean, that'll be super interesting to see. And I mean, even as it is, I really thought it was neat that it was as if you're seeing yourself making choices that you can't have any impact on. That was really cool. And then I was gonna say, little off topic of it, but if you like the upside down thing, you would love After Party because it does like weird
Hey,
little
that game saved Night School.
yeah.
Like as I told you, when Telltale went under, they nearly pulled down Night School with them, but thankfully they were developing After Party.
After Party deserves a hell of a lot of credit. It's
And you know,
just the idea of Oxenfree in a different setting, and it's so good.
well, the thing is, there's another game that is this type of game, and I really want to go back and finish it now. Kentucky Road Zero.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kentucky Route Zero is definitely
Just-
a
yeah,
similar vibe.
like it's just something that is not like the other. Like
Mhm.
is whereas like one of these things is not like the other. That seems a bad thing. With like it's weird with video games. That whole thing, like that whole rhetoric, is like the inverse of it of the term or of the
Mhm.
saying in practically every other medium.
That it's a good thing to be not like the others.
Yeah, because if you have like um the like back during the arcade era in the US at least, because the arcade era, like at the height of the arcade era, like the episode of Icons that document that like the mini documentary on the whole thing, the whole era. They weren't like people. There weren't like they didn't. If there was a certain game type that was or game like type that was being done. If there was a card game that was being done,
Mm-hmm.
like a specific, like if there's a way it was being done, there was no kid. They couldn't do it. They won't. There won't be anything similar to that because it was already done. And it's just a really great insight into how things have changed since the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And
And now it's like when things are influenced by other things, they're developed on, they're made a whole new thing that can be so much better.
yeah, it's like this is just gonna be another, and this is semi-related to the plot or to the setting of Oxenfree in terms of lore. Um, I recently saw on I saw a video on I think it was YouTube, like a YouTube short about how Tolkien was not a fan of Dune.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Frank Herbert wrote it, Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings after World War One.
Mm-hmm.
Herbert wrote Dune after he had served in World War Two.
Hmm.
And I'll send you the video because it's a really like interesting take on how one author was viewing their experience post war. It's just it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
And I'm totally not saying that all this in order to avoid talking about the triggering part of
Stop the
where
filibuster.
Okay, you said it. Okay. Okay.
You said the thing. You said the thing.
Say the line, Bart.
Well, dealing with this trivia game and coming out on top, I don't know how you could lose. I would have to look up a video on it, but I assume that if you failed all three, you could get them. Oh, I was going to say, that one question that you didn't get, the way that you found out was you had a small... So I realized that as I was answering the questions, I could move around the room, and they gave me 10 seconds, and there were 3 interactive, maybe more, things around the rooms. Like, there was like a globe and a post on top of the chalkboard, and one of them gave you information about what the name of the ship was, or how many people died on the ship.
That's the one I didn't get.
Yeah. So
it was, the choices were 53, 85, or is it like a big number, or a large amount, medium amount, small amount?
Mm-hmm. And I was going to go with the large anyway.
Ironic. I was going to go with the medium size because there's no way it could have been that catastrophic. Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was just like clicking around randomly, and she was like, "Wow, 85 people," and I was like, 85. But yeah, it was really cool because it wasn't like every answer was in that room. Like you said, one was on the radio, one was in dialogue in another building, and one was in that room, and it was really neat.
Wasn't even dialogue. It was actually like an interactable. Like it just.
True.
Like, it's literally just interact with poster, and it just says,
the cookie thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I forgot that. Yeah, you had to. And I think actually that poster became interactive after it was like, all right, time to go. Like after you did the selfie, then it opened up. So you had to go back in the room to interact with it, or else you wouldn't have gotten it. And it's just really neat. Like it rewards you, like you said with Fallout, it rewards you for exploring. So super cool. Let's see. They do the trivia. She ends up opening another portal with the radio and breaks Jonas's possession, which was actually really scary. Like seeing that image of Jonas possessed was frightening. As the spirit informs her,
We are sunken.
referring to the lost souls aboard the submarine which was called the USS Kanaloa, that crashed near Edwards Island years ago. So we get a little more backstory on who our spirits are and what's going on. This actually was interesting to me because knowing that you could go to Milner and have this happen before the woods, I wondered if the dialogue would change when she saw Ren's possession, because she kind of approached that as if she had never seen these ghosts before. But at Milner, they're basically like, hi, here's who we are. So I don't know if that would change. Probably not. But just an interesting little tidbit. They then find Clarissa with a radio that can only go one way, which upsets them all because they thought that they would find her and be able to have like a two-way radio. They don't. Alex gets sucked into yet another time loop and witnesses a seemingly possessed Clarissa throw herself 3 stories out the window to her supposed death. Yet when they go downstairs, her body is gone. They head back to the comms tower to regroup with Nona and Ren, and that is 2 a.m. Thoughts?
Um,
Oof.
no, sorry, I'm actually I pronounced it wrong. Ovov.
Ovo.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's literally OBH. It's OBH. Like Ovov. Like that. That's at least that's the way that's the way the voices sound is pronouncing it. When that happened, I was not, that's I was like, at first I thought when you sent me that like that trigger warning, I thought it was gonna be that part with Ren.
Just the
And
possession?
no. Him like with
Oh, the impaled thing.
Yeah, I thought it was that.
Yeah.
And Clarissa says something. Like she says a line, but as soon as it happens, like she speaks for like a barely, like not even barely a second, and just out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to figure out what it was that she was saying, or she was going to say.
Mm-hmm. Pull it up. Because it had to do with the sunken themselves.
There will be other ships and other souls to sail them.
And then she jumps.
Okay.
So it's like I don't know. She was kind of possessed by these spirits and what had happened. It's interesting to see this whole like history portray itself. It's scary that it's happening through the possession of these supposedly innocent kids, but yeah, it's neat to see like the story of the island play out. Frightening stuff though. Chilling. Like I said, it's that kind of thing where you're like, well, if you're shown this scary imagery, you're going to pay attention. And you're going to want to hear these spirits out.
Speaking of great game development, there's a free Fallout Shelter update.
Oh, damn. Are you playing that at the same time?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, just looking at my email. It's just because I heard there a certain thing got leaked that has to do with that a game that a game series that is unrelated to all this, but I had a feeling I thought it got leaked through the email that I got, like through the Bethesda their thing. But yeah, when Jonas is freaking out about Clarissa, like being I laughed a bit when he's like when like Alex has said that, or was saying that maybe she's alive, and Jonas just makes the 100% predictable zombie joke or zombie line.
Mm-hmm.
that's times like that when I'm actually perfectly fine with it. When it's like, no, the characters are like they're scared. They're scared shitless.
Oh yeah, they both react very well to the supposed death. Like she's like, "What am I?" He's like, "What are we supposed to tell the friends or something?" And she's
No.
like, "What about I supposed to tell her mom?"
Yeah. That's yeah. I trust. Yeah, like, and yeah, like the
They
specific
react so
line.
realistically.
The specific line that just sold it on for me was, like, yeah, when I was supposed to tell her mom, like her mom knows me, and
Yeah.
that alone, like that sold it. Ah, such a good game.
Yeah,
And the thing is,
it's awesome.
I wish. The thing I realized about playing these games, like Thomas Was Alone, now Oxenfree,
hmm
I wish Limited Run was more, not more, not more profitable, but more.
Like they would restock more often.
Yeah, because that's like I want to. I don't even want to buy, like, I don't. Or I want to buy that Thomas Was Alone PS4, like, physical release. Not even to play it, just to own it,
Right.
just because of how much that game means to me now.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, and then with Oxenfree, there's no release. Like, it's digital only.
So Oxenfree's, you're gonna hate this because I've been kicking myself for years. Oxenfree has an awesome IM 8-bit release.
Oh no, oh god.
They did have one, and it was like, I'm gonna try to pull it up. Oxenfree, it may have had, yeah, official collector's edition of Oxenfree. It had a cooler. It came with a cooler that, hold on. A game download code. So it's not like a physical release, but it's a game download code. An Oxenfree cooler that is big enough to store a 6-pack. A stash can to discreetly store your unmentionables, made from an actual off-the-shelf can, which could be either beer or soda, based on if you were 21 or up. A can insulator referencing locals' favorite hole in the wall from the game, Seafood Sammy's Happy Shanty, which I don't think we mentioned yet. A round trip ferry ticket to Edwards Island. An EP of tracks from Ren's band, the Redheaded Bedwetters. A download code for those songs featured on the cassette. And a fold-out tourist map from Edwards Island. The flip side features a poster image of the Oxenfree key art. And I've been wanting this since it came out. I don't think it's available like anywhere anymore. But it was like the perfect thing for a fan of this game, and I was like, ah.
Similar
But
thing,
yeah.
but with, yeah, like I was having a similar situation with Tales of Kenzera.
Oh, did they have a collector's edition?
No, there's no, like, I don't know, just says something about how I feel about the current state of the games industry, that the amount of, like, the balance of digital versus physical is, like, greatly shifted and not on the best direction.
Mm.
And hey, that the Oxenfree collector's edition, definitely better than what I think it was, Infamous 1 or 2. It was one of the PS3 games where it came with a glow in the dark condom. I don't know why I know this.
The Infamous collector's edition came with a condom?
It was one of the Infamous games. It had to have been either that. There was because there was definitely a. There was also, I think it was, there was a fall. It was either Fallout 3 or Fallout. There was definitely a Fallout game that also did something similar.
Yeah, GameStop Italy supposedly had glow in the dark condoms for Second Son. That's insane. Oh, because isn't that like, it's like the son was a, like, didn't
Neon.
have to do with
Or not
offspring?
Neon. It had to do with one of the characters that whose powers you get has to do with like light and all that, like glowing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's definitely a thing that definitely happened in the games industry.
It was a different time. Like
It's like
10 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 2014, I think, Infamous Second Son. What a game.
Yeah, like I'm looking on Deku deals for just looking at all these games. Okay, Hades has a physical release. I think I'm gonna have to buy a copy of Hades to make myself feel better.
Yeah, I have that. I bought the physical Hades because it was one of those GameStop sales where it's like get 4 pre-owned games for $20 or something, $30 maybe. And I got Hades. Yet to play it, but I own it. But to bring it back, I completely understand what you're saying about these like I am not I'm 8-bit limited run. Like they do some really cool digital games in physical form, and by the time I get to them, I'm like they're sold out.
If only limited run were the opposite. Just simply that. If limited run was mass run games.
Unlimited run.
Yeah. Well, no, that they got a business because. And besides, there's already some fervor going on with limited run.
Yeah. At the very least, just make them. I don't know. Reissue them every once in a while. Do another limited run.
Yeah. Well, thank God there are places like Video Game VGP. Like there are definitely like if there's a like video games something video game I think the video games restock.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, Video Games Plus.
Video Games Plus. Is that just a physical retailer?
It's Canadian retailer. They have sales a lot. They actually, ironically, they sell limited run games.
Huh.
And they actually have sale. A lot of times they'll have sales on limited run games.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So it's just there. Yeah, weird stuff like that. And then there's like, and this this last one I'm gonna mention, Video Games New York.
I'm like favoriting all of these as you say them.
Yeah, they like this. They've got a lot of. Oh, and this one is more. And this next one is just if you like games from Japan, like Japanese games that don't get many physical versions in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, West. In the West. PlayAsia.com.
Yes, I have heard about that.
Yeah, like they
They had a lot of
where
Vita games, I think.
Yeah, they
At
have
least back in the day of Vita games.
Yeah, they've got Dave the Diver, they've got they actually have Melody of Moon, they have Melody of Moon Valley
As a physical version?
in Japan, yeah.
Wow. Wario 64 mentions PlayAsia a lot too.
So does Nintendo.
Huh. Well, if you ever want to buy physical games, that's been your tangent of the obligatory VGU tangent.
Is this going to make it into the VGU bits or VGU banter?
If I get those things up and running again, but I got a lot on my plate. No, but what was I going to say? Oh, I was just going to cap it with the fact that I did find a collector's edition. Someone was selling one on Reddit 10 months ago. They were like, you know what? I have this. I'm just going to take offers. They put it on eBay and sold it for $600.
Oh, whoa, God.
Oh. So, are you a diehard? That diehard?
I'm not gonna. I'll wait for the price to go down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Or if anything, I'll just do what there are collectors out there who'll just get like they'll get like for certain PC games
Mm-hmm.
they'll get they'll get a game like basically just the big box version of it, even though the code's been used, like the activation code, and just have it just for display purposes.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, looking at my notes, I didn't see much else. I did have one question that it just has a yes or no to it. When you went to the woods in this section, did you immediately go and jump over a gap and get a trophy out of it? Oh, you don't have trophies on
Yeah, I'm
Switch.
playing on Switch. I'm playing on Switch.
Ah, damn. Well, did you jump the gap and have Jonas be like, "What the hell are you doing?" Or did you climb like down the map?
I jumped. I did jump multiple jumps, but I didn't get any dialogue.
Okay. I think it was like as soon as you walk into the woods, there's a spot where you're just kind of walking and it's like talking and talking, and then you just kind of you can just click to jump and you make it across, and he's like, he stops what he's saying to you and he's like, "Whoa, you can't just go jumping doing big jumps like that." And I didn't know that you could actually like climb down a wall at the start and then do like a path along the bottom of the screen. But I was just like, screw it, I'm jumping. And it gave me like a I think it was a trophy that was like "It's a me" or something. It was some Mario reference. It was funny. I just wanted to see if you did that. But yeah, I mean it's interesting to see. I mean, this is the reason, one of the main reasons I wanted to do this podcast was to like see how our gameplays differ from each other. And I think that we got some interesting things there. And like it's cool how you're playing it differently with the radio the whole time. Keep that up. I want to see if you learn more things, if like you get different either hints earlier on or you learn different stories. I want to see where that goes. But yeah, that's been Oxenfree. So
yeah, because like I'm waiting for, because I have not played Hellblade 2 yet, because I'm still waiting for the eventual Indie Book Club episode on Hellblade 1, because I'm saving that for Indie Book Club.
We should do that soon then.
Yeah. It would be the best idea not to just go like from it would be a bad idea to go from Oxenfree to immediately to Oxenfree 2.
Okay. All right, yeah, if you don't want to do that, we can find another thing in between.
Yeah, no, only because it would be a potential burnout.
I get you.
Yeah, because like
you want to digest it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I do have an idea for something that would be a nice palate cleanser. That is the most far from being a palate cleanser. And I'll mention it after post show.
Okay, I'm excited. Well, if you are interested in Oxenfree, please join us in this playthrough. And thank you again for listening to this podcast. I will set up this third segment with it's. I tried to find like hours to play through. It's hard now. It gets a little difficult. So I'm not spoiling anything huge by saying the stopping point after this is our characters find their way to a house, like a building that they explore. And you leave this building via a pier. And that is where we will stop. So presumably this next segment will take us to a house, have us be in the house, and then when we are leaving the house and get to whatever the next save spot is, that's where we will be stopping.
Right before the passage to the underworld.
Yes, wherever the pier may take us. I will be writing this out. I put the outlines on the The Twitter we have at IBCVGU, and you can follow any updates there. I'm sorry that this first episode got a rollout kind of late. As we're recording it right now, I will be putting up the first episode tomorrow, and then we are kind of on like a IRL, we're like a week ahead, but you're going to be hearing this, you're going to be hearing it weekly, should be going up every Saturday. So yeah, thank you for listening. Alan, thank you for joining me.
No problem.
It's been lovely to have you, and it's lovely to keep playing this game. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I really am. Please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, shameless plug, but also follow our podcast feed of these VGU podcasts. Also, another shameless plug, go and follow VGU Gaiden. It's a separate podcast feed where DJ and I are watching doing a retrospective on anime films currently, but we're going to do a lot more. So yeah, go follow both of those, and we will be seeing you next time as we leave that building via the pier. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.